Okay. That being said, it says that you're in. I would assume that you are.
Yeah, I just got in.
Fine. So, just as a sort of disclaimer, obviously, I don't play Junkrat and Ashe, but I do have a specific idea of how to play them as well as their play styles in a team sense. So while I am a Genji main, one of the best things about Genji is that whenever you press the deflect button, usually you learn how the other hero plays. And I think that's one of the coolest features is that he shifts with the meta, even though in this recent one he kind of got shafted. That's aside from the fact. So, disclaimer aside, I'm sure you're perfectly fine with that, considering you're already aware of the situation and you're still here. So,
Yeah.
okay. We're going to go ahead with playing Lunar Horizon Colony, and I'll just kind of give analysis after a team fight. If you ever want to stop it, just say stop, okay? And you can,
Okay.
but what I'm going to be, what you should, what I'd recommend looking for is in situations where you're fighting and you feel like you're doing well and your team isn't keeping up with you, or if your team is carrying you and you're not keeping well and you possibly don't know why. That's mainly
Okay.
how these situations can be improved, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, first things first, we're going to go ahead and look at your team here, which is going to consist of a Symmetra, Baptiste, Mercy, obviously Junkrat, Roadhog, and Hammond. So, you have a lot of shield break, like a literal ton of shield break. There should be no shield standing, and with the Symmetra, you could definitely work together, and the Roadhog even, to just make that a priority. The Hammond is okay. It doesn't really synergize with the rest of the team, but I mean, there's you can knock people off high ground, which definitely provides a lot of opportunities. So what I'm expecting going forward is either your team is going to break the shield that's in place, or they're going to knock people down and you're going to pick them off. But if you don't break that shield, you're going to be stuck out in the open. And the only thing you can do from that point is either knock people off or teleport with Symmetra to point.
Okay. This is your first time seeing this too, right?
Yes, this is my first time.
Okay.
Did I predict? We'll see, we'll see.
My aim was super potato-y to start because this is my first match.
All good. As long as you're aware of it, those mechanical factors are going to augment gameplay quite a bit, but it's nothing that you're not already aware of. Okay, I'm just gonna pause it there for one quick second and say,
Okay.
as a Junkrat, do not shoot the Pharah. You are heavily countered. And I know you're trying with a concussion grenade, which is not a bad idea, but it's not the end of the fight. You can't really do that thing and consider it to be efficient. So just remember,
Oh,
if you want
dude.
to kill the Pharah as Junkrat, that's a great idea. I fully support it. Do it at the end of the fight when they're the last one left, because
I
chances are they're
totally
going to be the
agree.
last one left.
I was doing that thinking I'll either hit the Pharah or I won't, and it will keep hitting the Rhine and all the stuff that will bounce off that middle pillar. That's why I was aimed that way.
Fair, fair,
That's what I was thinking there, but I was trying to definitely take her out with the concussion.
fair.
I got lucky picking that Mercy off. I was going for it, but that was
She
a
definitely did the Guardian Angel, and it was way too soon for her to be able to tech out of it, so you could say it was luck, but it was still a good shot nonetheless. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pause it there, and I just want to know specifically what do you think was the best value you got out of that situation? Wait, hold on, hold on. I'm seeing a story to this right side here. This Farah is on 20 health and is right next to your martyr and a trap. Please, hold on. We're gonna wait 2 seconds. I want to see this. Yes!
Yeah.
Dude! I'm so happy for that. Okay, okay. Go you for that. But that's aside from the fact of the question I'm asking you about what value you got. Because what was the moment that you feel you got the best value out of
Oh
playing
man.
Junkrat into this?
Well, see, I die here, right? And I was thinking I'm gonna switch to soldier in case they come back because I didn't see the Pharah die there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking they only have the one shield, and I don't want to keep feeding into their Zarya, so I was gonna change to something that could deal with Pharah better. But then I got rezzed in a second by the Mercy, and I had my ult up, and I'm like, you know what, I'll stay it. But I don't know. I went out to get that health pack because I was saying on comms, I need heals, and nobody was healing me.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And
so go ahead. Go ahead.
And then when I came back, I was kind of paying so much attention to how close I was to dying, basically being one shot. I was just kind of trying to fire everything that I could to hope I could get some picks.
Okay. So you kind of dodged the question that was there originally, which was at what point do you think you were getting the most value out of your character pick into the enemy comp? You did specifically say you wanted to switch, and that would be an okay decision to make, but it would be a decision for the next team fight after this. And even though you got rezzed after practically all of it is, for the most part, over, I would say that personally, the prioritization of the Pharah with the nades, hoping that they would land on the enemy Rhine, was probably the most value that you got out of that situation. And it it's don't it's a situation that necessarily doesn't yield as much for your team as you could possibly have through just trying to break down that Reinhardt shield, or possibly finding the sim and working alongside her to make sure that the Zarya bubble didn't stand in your way. And this is a situation with Junkrat is one of the best shield counters to date. And a Reinhardt, I mean, there's a reason people don't like playing Reinhardt into a Doomfist, but if you're a Reinhardt playing into a Junkrat, you are going to have an even worse life just in that small instance of his trap, of his concussion mine, and his nades. But Junkrat, until he hits his targets, is almost a crapshoot just because of how predictable he is. You need to get into people's faces to do damage, and that Pharah is going to prevent that. So while you were aiming for the Pharah and you were hoping it landed on the Rhine, you were giving yourself an unfair fight that's, in the end, going to give you less return from if you were to focus down the Rhine and make sure that either he got concussioned, his shield was extremely low, almost 90% of the time, or if you were pestering the Zarya specifically, usually the tanks like to move together. But do you see how you could create situations where you would get 100% value at a discounted rate, which is going to yield more value than if you were to give yourself a 20% successful rate and get full value out of it, should you, versus a 0% value out of your actions should you go for the Pharah instead of the Rhine or a ground target, perhaps.
Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely see what you're saying. I just maybe it's me being a lower SR and the way that I think when I play. I get that Call of Duty mentality where I just want to go after that one person that's really annoying me.
I'm gonna say this. I share in your hobby, dude. I do share in your hobby of going for the Pharah. Like, I love, nothing brings me, there's only two instances that bring me greater joy than killing a Pharah, and that was hitting masters and spawn camping people as Genji in this meta, okay? But that doesn't mean that if I see a Pharah, that's the first priority. The first priority is always going to be the objective, and the way you can bring the most value to your team 100% with the shield breaker comp you have is either following the Symmetra and going for ground targets, or just bursting down the Rhine shield
Yeah,
and
just
laying
do my
traps
job.
in choke positions. So, like in this situation altogether, I'm not gonna say you did. I'm not gonna say you 100% carried, because you didn't. Although you did get the kill on the Pharah through non-traditional means. You didn't carry. You had your presence on the point, but the best value that you had as a character was just having presence on the point.
Okay.
And that's good, but you need to build on top of that. And target prioritization is a big thing for Junkrat. So let's go ahead and move forward. Do you have any words that you want to say on this? Like, do you feel the situation could have been better by any other means? Do you think I'm wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's one thing that that's helped me get out of silver and into gold is learning to do my job better. And then if noticing my team and trying to do things that help the team better versus just me doing what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of see that. But
Okay,
that was where I went off and just said, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And even though I was kind of like helping, I was laser focused on that Farah.
for sure, for sure. Laser focus with a grenade launcher at a helicopter, or
Yeah.
you know. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on. So you say you get res here.
Yeah.
The Mercy also gets a res on the Reaper. There we go. That's that focus that I like to see on the Rhine. Symmetra's working with you. This Rhine is gonna melt.
And then they killed everybody before I could do that.
Hey, that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah.
Now that's actually your Baptiste's ult, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. Yeah,
The
that was.
Baptiste amplification matrix. Now, as Junkrat, do you know how much damage that gives you if you shoot one grenade?
I honestly have no idea how much damage it gives me with any
A
character. I just know
Junkrat,
it's a bunch.
if one of your grenade lops directly hits, it's 120 damage. And that amplification matrix, and I'm gonna look this up, either offers you a 50% to 100% increase in damage.
Oh wow.
So you would be doing 204. You could one-shot any squishy in your way.
That's good to know in the future because I had no clue. I just knew it was a power up. I didn't really know how much.
Indeed. So it amplifies the damage by 100%. So your shots, one single shot through that, can kill a target in one hit. One concussion mine through there does 100 and does just as much as a grenade. So usually as Junkrat, you kind of want to prioritize it, but that's a side factor. It's really about team synergy, all the way. Interesting trap placement, I'll say.
I wasn't sure necessarily if we were going to cap it or not, so I just wanted to put it there. In
For
case
sure,
that
for
came
sure. You
back.
still got it back. I love the thought that you had. It's actually something that's a little more advanced than your SR level right now. Okay, so your Symmetra's definitely cleaning up shop here. She's focusing the tank.
Awesome.
So it's kind of expected for this situation to happen with Symmetra being so heavy. Moira gives up. Very relatable. There you go.
And then
Ryan.
I moved the Ryan off the point.
This man isn't even switching, so.
That was a good play though. I will say I gave myself a pat in the back there. I saw the Ryan come in, and then I threw my nade down because I know if you pop him, he'll go flying off the point.
That is true. That is accurate. There's also a chance that he'll pin somebody else in doing so, but that's the random anarchy factor of it. I think he actually pinned your sim. I don't know if it was because of you or not, though. Let's go back just a little bit and see what this situation plays out as. Okay, so your sim's still alive. No, the sim didn't. So that actually the Hammond ended up taking it, which was a pretty good. Yeah, that was a good concussion. So I'll agree. But as I said, originally, with your team comp, that far is always going to be the last thing left, man. Unless your Roadhog or your Baptiste works together. You can find that satisfaction, but you just have to focus down the rest of the team first, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any other notes specifically for this round, or do you think that's a good point to move forward onto the defense?
Yeah, no, we can move on. I'm just soaking it all in right now.
For sure.
Soaking it in. I'm like a sponge.
Best way to be in these situations.
You can probably fast forward just a little bit here because I wasn't sure how to go ahead 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I've never really recorded much with OBS before when I did this.
Hey, I appreciate the fact that you're doing so now.
And this time I made the switch to Ashe in case they had the Pharah again.
Okay.
Because I am mostly like an Ashe Hanzo main.
Ashe Hanzo are actually more of the higher tiered picks than Junkrat. So, but the thing is that where Hanzo is more of a shield break with that storm arrow, Ashe is able to get a lot of charge off of dynamite if she throws it into a team. So what I'm going to be looking for is, huh?
When are we gonna leave?
5:30.
Because there's Houston traffic, you know, and
Yeah.
45, and
Yeah.
it's 6 o'clock is class, and I still gotta walk all the way over there, you know.
I'll drive. I was going to drive you to it. Okay. Anyways, what I'm going to be looking for specifically from you is in a perfect situation as Ashe, you are not going to be out in the open. You're going to be prioritizing these natural cover or shield covers of the map. You're going to be on higher ground, obviously. You're not going to use your coach gun. In most situations, you're not going to use the coach gun unless it's to get back up onto high ground. And every time that Hammond pile drives, you're going to make sure to dynamite into it, as long as he does it into their team.
Okay.
Because that is the best way to charge. And also confirm kills. A pile drive from a Hammond is amazing to work with on this point. On defense.
I'm remembering now how good our sim was here. Like this entire game, our sim was awesome.
Sim is a very, very easy hero to carry with currently. So I will say, if you run into a slightly formidable Sim, you better hope she's on your team. Good pick. Good pick. There it is. Huh?
Where are your keys?
Right here. Okay, so there was the pile drive, and it can be hard to be able to get the pile drive figured out, or to be able to get the timing with it, but he netted 3 people and made the Zarya use her personal bubble alone. That is how essential pile drive is. It literally eliminates all the cooldowns, and if you dynamited, you would have killed the Reaper, you would have killed the Mercy. Instantly.
Yeah, I see that now that you say that.
It's all good. These situations are hard to read in the moment. But do you see how whenever you did it by yourself, you only got really 1 target? But with 1 target and 2 kills, you're already a fourth of the way to your Bob. These are just things to think about in the future to point you in the right direction. It's perfectly fine for things to be wrong, or for you not to realize it. Good shot.
And I was out of bullets there. I'm like, oh crap.
Well, that comes down to realization. It's all fine. Dynamite on cooldown. Okay, so we're coming up on the next team fight.
I thought there was somebody hiding there when I saw the sim turret come out earlier.
All good, all good. So we saw if we hold tab right now, we can instantly tell to see what their team is running or if they switched up their comp. And usually after team fights, this is the best time to think about, well, what they might be working towards easily or what they might not have, more importantly. And the thing to notice is that if you tab here, you'd notice they'd have a Lucio, so their movement's going to be sped up. They're probably going to try to teleport to point, which opens up a lot of potential for dynamite. That scared me a little, but what was it? Their Lucio is most likely going to make their rotations a lot easier. It's going to be a little bit harder on you just because your mechanical skill is not at the current SR level that you're playing at. It's higher, easily. But there are things that you could do in this situation that are going to make it so that you're able to maximize on the potential of your mechanical skill. You just have to, look at your team and then look at the enemy team every now and then. So they're either going to teleport in, or they're going to speed to point along the right side. Not a bad answer to that. Okay, so they chose to teleport to point. Instantly get shut down by your team, which is good on your team. I'm assuming your Symmetra has the point covered in turrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it.
I was trying to get back up. I'm like, oh shit, Zarya.
Yeah, that Zarya's out of place. Honestly, she's very punishable, but the fact that your team is managing to take her down as is, I mean, it doesn't take priority for you to have to move away from your spot and have your team pull away from a team fight just to take down that Zarya. She wasn't contributing or hurting anyone. She was practically harmless. Overkill? Gotta make sure that Reaper's dead. We hate as well. OP teleporter. Must destroy before they use the strat.
The other team was saying that their sim was throwing.
I don't think that's the case. Common logic in ladder climbing is if you don't win and you think you know why, chances are your team is throwing.
60 seconds.
Okay, so you're not prioritizing Dynamite at all. And it's not harming you right now because you have your Bobs, so I'm expecting you to play Bob whenever the enemy team finally decides to make a move. But you would have had Bob probably a minute into this round and would be able to use him more liberally as a person and as a presence. Would you have prioritized the pile drive specifically with the Dynamite? Like, team synergy really does make all the difference and can literally skyrocket you up a full rank.
I'd never even thought about Dynamite after pile driver until you said that. It wasn't even a thought in my head.
Hey, that's okay. I mean, honestly, teamwork is what gets this game forward. And it just comes down to your part in synergizing with your team, and you don't even have to communicate with them to say that, because chances are the Hammond is going to pile drive as many targets to get that ult charge, and you can capitalize on that so easily. Okay, so... Okay, destroyed the OP teleporter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of... That was a good Dynamite, but you're on the wrong team for it.
Yeah, I was worried because she did her graviton bomb there. So I did that to try to scare her back, and then I threw Bob out so she would run away from my team after she did it.
Well, it worked. You defeated the Zarya.
10 seconds. Victory.
Okay, so just a few ending notes. Your Junkrat game, mechanically, you want to target prioritize because most of your damage is going to be confirmations on larger targets and shields because you can burst it down. And if a Symmetra is working with you and you have a Roadhog on your team, even without a shield, you should be able to burst down a shield on the enemy team and leave that character point useless, practically. Like, it's so incremental to adding to your gameplay. And there's still things that you can work with on other heroes. It's not just on Ashe, it's not just on Junkrat, but there are ways to synergize with your team that can definitely make your gameplay more potent. And I don't think your mechanical skill is the issue here. I don't think you should be saying to yourself, oh, well, I wasn't able to hit the far as Junkrat, I need to go fast, or like I need to go and beat myself over the head, or cry in the shower because I wasn't able to hit the Pharah as Junkrat. Like that should never be an issue. Specifically, the Pharah might be the last character left on the map from the enemy team after you've confirmed the shields, but you should never hurt yourself or go in that direction at all, because mechanical skill is an issue, but 9 times out of 10, what you're to think about is not what's actually going to make the difference until later on in higher levels, is going to be how well you work with your team on their natural abilities. Because everyone knows how to do it with ults currently. Everyone knows when you graviton, oh, Doomfist, Genji, Sigma, these all work. Obviously, it's teamwork. It's ults coming together. But a lot of the ranks that you'll play at won't consider natural abilities working together. And that's the one thing that I would highly advise for you. If you want to get out of your rank and if you want to grow, the fastest way you're going to get out of this rank and get the next one and reach that milestone is, no matter who you're playing, consider target prioritization, consider what your team is probably going to be doing, and consider your own abilities with the team. Because if you did the dynamite on the, or if you did the dynamite with the pile drive, if you went for the Reinhardt instead of going for the Pharah, if you decided that you were going to mainly focus on the shield with the Symmetra, you could have probably spawn capped that enemy team the entire match.
Do you do that often in higher SRs, spawn camp?
When it comes to spawn camping specifically, it's a really subjective instance. There is spawn camping every now and then, but mainly the thing about spawn camping is that you're able to analyze the enemy team as well as your team for the people that you do and don't know, more so the people you don't know, and you're able to play to their strengths as well as playing to the enemy's weakness. And to take that into account, not only are you able to precisely determine where the enemy team is going to be necessarily strong, both mechanically but as a game sense for who's playing together, but that also requires you to be able to utilize your team's effectiveness to be able to go in and to commit to spawn camping. And it is possible the more you're to stick to the meta, because it's easier in terms of the meta exists as the most efficient tactic available. So the more you play to the meta, the less mechanical skill comes into question, and the more you're going to be able to play on a game sense to determine how good somebody else is and what they are specifically going to do. Your ability to predict the enemy team is the only situation that you should spawn camp in. So, yes, it does happen. It also happens to me because I play Genji, and psychologically, that can tilt a team every now and then because they want me to just go meta, or I just want them to play with me. But I try out of the situations that I played, there have been games where even against the meta, I have managed to spawn camp as well. And that's usually when it's a really complex issue. I'll be happy to cover this another time with you, but I definitely think that at your level right now, if you just focus on your cooldowns, you'll be able to prioritize targets and you'll be able to crush your current SR. Like, without a doubt, in fact.
I'm probably going to play some comp now and hope I get paired up with a hamster and try throwing my dynamite into it.
Even if you don't get paired with a hamster, the best thing you can tell me a week from now is that you started looking and noticing that there are specific heroes you can pair with their abilities, and you can work with that. Because if you start being able to pick up on all the synergistic things, you'll realize that it's not about the hero you pick solely. It's about the cooldowns, and it's about how you play and they play. So
There's a couple of Overwatch YouTube channels I follow, like Your Overwatch and then Overwatch. I forget what the other one is. But are there any that you can watch videos on what heroes pair well with other heroes, or is that just something that you learn over time?
what you're referring to is what everyone has to learn in order to get better at Overwatch, which is called game sense. It's going through the experiences, it's continually playing to the point where you can effectively say that you know what pairs well with who. I can't tell you that because it's such a broad topic and it's not always going to be the case. But you need to find all the situations that pair well with you in that regard through the experiences you have, through trial and error, through saying, oh, well, I didn't think Zarya was a good pick with Ashe, but as it turns out, it allows me a lot of opportunity to not use my coach gun to push myself or enemies away, and it allows me to be able to use that one to confirm kills, or just general little notes like that about who works well with what, because at the end of the day, you build on the heroes, but after you're done building on the heroes, you build on the cooldowns. And after you're done building on the cooldowns, you build on the people you play with who use those heroes a specific way. And that is what is currently known as the architecture of Overwatch and how to specifically grow. If you don't know the synergies of the heroes just as a means, like the general basis of the heroes, you're probably going to range from bronze to silver. If you don't know the cooldowns, it's gold to low diamond. If you don't know the players, it's masters and up. Probably grandmasters and up, honestly. I'd say the cooldowns actually now with 222 go from plat all the way to high masters. But I can't say anything past that point because I've never been there personally. I'll tell you when I get there, maybe.
You'll get there.
Anywho, I do have to head to class, so do you have any closing notes you want to say on this?
No, I really appreciate everything.
Hey, I
I'm gonna
appreciate the
go into
fact that you
comp
came
now
to
and
me
try and
and
take some of this.
Hmm?
I'm gonna go into some comp and hope I can take some of this and
For sure.
apply it.
How would you, or you know what? Tell me at the end, after comp, if you feel that you did apply a lot of the information that was here, or if not. But whatever the case may be, I wish you luck. This recording is officially finished.